Over Over the past 100 years, cinema has grown to become the dominant form of visual storytelling. And of course, like any other art medium, you have your typical debates on what the most effective form of storytelling is. But I will not be talking about any of these debates. Instead, my argument for today is simply this: why Shrek the Third is easily the worst of the Shreks, and therefore should be stricken from the Shrek canon. I have a series of points I'd like to make, starting with 1. Too many characters. Okay, to recap, who is introduced in Shrek 1? Well, you got Shrek, Fiona, and Donkey. Simple, beautiful, done. In Shrek 2, it gets a little more crowded. They introduce Puss in Boots, they introduce Fiona's parents, and of course Fairy Godmother and Prince Charming. So far, so good, that's fine. In Shrek the Third, who do they introduce? They introduce the princesses? Arthur Pendragon? Merlin? None of these characters are core characters. Gun to my head, I could not tell you a single thing they do. Hey, you know what ruined Spider-Man 3? Too many characters. Hey, you know what ruined The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Too many characters. There's just overstuffed with fluff. Why? Number 2, the villain. Every good movie deserves a strong villain, right? Show of hands, who is the villain in Shrek 1? That's right, Lord Farquaad. Charismatic, comedic, wonderfully portrayed by the incomparable John. And then Shrek 2, who are the villains in Shrek 2? Well, the iconic Fairy Godmother, you know, she has that beautiful song. And her bumbling sidekick of a son, Prince Charming, you know, he compliments her beautifully. It's all good. Now, can you recall who the villain is in Shrek the Third? I'll wait. Yeah, you're having trouble. You know why? It's because the villain in Shrek 3 is Prince Charming again. Yeah, they got so lazy, they just recycled the weaker villain from the previous movie and made him the primary villain of Shrek the Third. Awful! Now, before I continue, I want to talk about Shrek 4's villain, and I can already hear a lot of you say, they made the Shrek 4? Yes, they did, and it's a delight, because the villain is Rumpelstiltskin, a well-rounded, quirky villain with quips and wonderful, pithy little, you know, he's a strong villain, but this is lazy. This is lazy writing. They're just reusing. Yeah. Number 3, Shrek the Third is superfluous. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's recap what the purpose of each Shrek movie is. Shrek 1 introduces us to this wonderful character and this world. It's the origin story. In Shrek 2, they do world building and they flesh out these characters, you know, they create more of a world. In Shrek the Third, they have babies? I guess that's the big takeaway from Shrek the Third, but guess what? Guess what? Shrek 4 opens with the montage of the babies. You don't need to see Shrek 3. Like, there's no point. It serves no purpose. Shrek 4 recaps everything perfectly with the baby montage, which leads me to the Shrek viewing order I've carefully crafted here. First, you start on the left with Shrek 1, and then obviously you go to Shrek 2. And then when you finish Shrek 2, you boop, 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 just skip 3, go right to 4. Nothing of merit, nothing of importance has been lost. I promise you, and coincidentally, this is also my Shrek ranking order from best to worst. It's 1, 2, and 4, and I just would love to pretend that 3 never happened. Which leads me to my final nail in the coffin argument. You know who else ignores the events of Shrek the Third? Shrek 4 ignores Shrek the Third. They ignore Shrek 3 hardcore. At no point, shut up. At no point do any of the characters reminisce on the events of the previous movie. Donkey's never like, hey yo Shrek, remember all those crazy characters we conversed with? Like, There's just no purpose for Shrek the Third at all. And honestly, Shrek 4 is largely underrated. I'm a little pissed that more people don't agree with me on this sentiment. Oh, and one more thing. You see, there is a light at the end of the tunnel here, because DreamWorks has confirmed that they are indeed making a Shrek 5 coming out at some point in 2019. And you bet your bottom dollar I will be doing a frame-by-frame analysis of the first trailer as soon as it drops. I am so damn excited, and I want to thank you all for joining me on this video journey essay of mine. God bless. Drive safe.